It's like going into a magic land every day. For whatever reason, by accident or fate, because I was an impressionable kid at that age, that experience of going down to the X for 2 weeks every day impacted on my later life. Many educators say, get a kid by up to the age 5 with whatever doctrine or dogma you want, and you've got them for life. It's a very strange feeling coming so far and wondering who is this person who picked me to play a kid in a movie about Canada. It kind of helped push me in the direction that I ended up in.
Took a kid and they took the X and they made a little story. I was struck by how innocent it was. I mean, this is right after World War II and the whole world awaits, Canada. And here's this kid wandering the fair, getting to know all the different sites, and like you have this chemical wonderland, which is almost like a Simpson parody. And here's people watching rubber being made, and they're all just standing there as people throw them liquid rubber.
What was unique about the Canadian National Exhibition in 1947 is that there hadn't been an exhibition for the previous 6 years. We're back to the ordinary times. We're away from the war and the death and all that. We're back to the fun times. It must have been a very special exhibition.
Well, it's a fine example of some of the work that was done at the Film Board, taking an audience to watch and enjoy a story about a youngster at the fair.
It's like a merry-go-round music. There's very few places that stops.
They were all woodwinds and brass with members of the Toronto Symphony because he wanted to have this outdoor circusy sound.
They just intended it as a morale booster, but it's fascinating how it's become a bit of a time capsule.
So here we are, winding our way up, and hopefully we'll find the home of Jack Olsen, the director of Johnny at the Fair, who I have not seen since I was 4 years old. So here we are again, 56 years later. It was like it was yesterday, huh?
It's a riot.
Yeah.
I love it.
Tell me a little bit about how it happened that I got the interview.
Aunt Ruth called and said, I read in the paper where they're interviewing kids for this particular role in the National Film Board movie about the exhibition. She said, why don't you call and ask for an interview? The interview took 3 minutes. You were standing on your head, you were doing somersaults and all kinds of things like that.
And you brought me home, and then what happened when you got home?
I got scared when I saw all the cars and cameras in front of our house. They were taking pictures of me and you. I said, how do you know he won? Nobody told me. And they said, he won. So I went in the house and I phoned the National Film Board and I said, are you still taking interviews? And they said, no, we've already selected somebody. It'll be in the papers tonight. And before I knew it, we were celebrities. They tested me and your father. We were both suitable. Otherwise, they would have taken a couple of actors.
There you are.
There I am.
I remember, the getting up in the morning and going in the Chrysler Woody Wagon convertible, waving, and off I would go. Spent the whole day there, and remember those pictures of us all sitting around on the grass. How long did they make me keep going like that? I guess for a couple of...
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every day for 2 weeks.
Johnny has been seeing only what Mom and Pop want to see. He's bored, especially a kid like Johnny who's got a lot of curiosity. You know, the explorer type. Where's Johnny?
So the whole scenario of me getting lost, how did that get acted out?
Well, I don't know. We looked around. We couldn't see him anywhere. Where do you think he could go? I don't know.
Thinks Johnny. This is more like it. Johnny puts his best foot forward. He's not sure where he's going, but he's on his way. Meanwhile, Johnny's mother is trying to think of the likeliest place to find her missing son.
I remember being let loose, and it was kind of like being in some sort of Alice in Wonderland, incredible magic world. It was just like an onslaught of sensory highs every 2 seconds.
It's Prime Minister Mackenzie King officially opening the exhibition.
And I was being kind of shuttled from one older person to another and told to shake hands or told to do this or told to do that. But I remember mostly the sense of space of the band shell, this strange shape. It was kind of like the Wizard of Oz. You know, like who are these people? What was going on? And I remember chewing bubble gum. Yeah, and chewing gum. As soon as I put bubble gum in my mouth, I have to do the big bubble. I don't know, I just enjoy it.
What a day. He didn't expect to meet the world's heavyweight champion boxer, Joe Louis. Outside the automotive building, he meets another world champion, Canada's wonder girl of the ice rinks, Barbara Ann Scott.
Here I was, no more than 2 feet high, and here's this blonde goddess that everybody is in awe of, and she's, bends down and sweeps me into her arms and gives me a great big smackaroo.
She kissed him on one cheek and he rubbed it off.
Oh, gee. Like a true son of the 20th century, he takes everything in his stride.
At an early age, I got the illusory impression that Canadian meant glamorous. That experience of going down to the X for 2 weeks every day and being treated like a celeb at age 4, and then it was over, and the rest of it somehow lodged itself in my conscience and came out in other ways, in my desire to somehow propagate the feeling that Canadian could mean glamorous, that could be beautiful, that could stand with anything. Well, the question I get asked the most as an adult painter is, why the moose? And all I can do is refer to this one picture, which is like a seminal event in my childhood. This never made it into the movie, but I still remember the actual moment of doing it. I still look at this photograph and I can smell the fur on this moose. His name was Joe LaFlamme. He came from somewhere in rural Quebec, and he used to cross Canada with his pet female moose. I got interested in the moose purely and simply because it was this awkward, majestic animal that we know is out there, but we don't very often see, and as such it became an allegory for the Canadian identity. The Queen was coming to the Shaw Festival in Niagara-on-the-Lake in 1973, and I had one of those little epiphanies. I woke up in the middle of the night and I decided to look for images of moose and put her astride a moose. What I had done was somehow or other hit an Achilles heel without realizing it. There are many people who were offended by it. Other people defended it. Other people thought it was humorous, but somehow or other I had hit a chord. How do you do? Hi. I'm not sure whether you recognize me, but I think I recognize you. And I brought a picture to show you, which may help you figure out who I am. Does that mean anything to you? That was taken 56 years ago at the Canadian National Exhibition.
That's a little kid. This is me here, isn't it?
That's right.
And that's the cameraman. And
Yeah.
This is that little kid.
Yeah, do you remember his
Charlie.
name?
Charlie.
Yeah, well, that's me. I just wanted to say, how do you do after 56
Are you Charlie?
years? Yes, sir.
Oh, you're
I
joking.
am indeed. I am indeed.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and you still got the same twinkle in your eye. I don't know whether I do or not,
That's
but there
me.
you go. That's you in 1947. Come a long way, huh? Do I look at all the same to you?
No, absolutely.
Not at all?
No, you look like a little kid. No, you look like a teacher, a professor or something.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm sort of one. I'm kind of a professor. I'm an artist.
You're an
And
artist.
yeah, and I brought you a whole bunch of
You're
pictures
an
to show you.
artist?
Yep.
When did you become an artist?
Well, you had something to do with that.
I just find it absolutely fascinating that you, for some reason, somehow found me. To think that something that I included in a film that I made is sitting here today. It really excites me a great deal, and I'm so glad that you found me.
You kick-started my life and my career, and coming back to see you after all these years is something I will never forget. It's pretty special.
It really makes my heart beat strong.
Me too.
They've looked everywhere. Everywhere but one place.
A little boy, 4.5 years old, and then suddenly I spotted him. Come on, we gotta go home.
That's it. Time to go home. The day at the fair is over. Okay.